Since my boy Adam Rios put up a video of his Met Ruck, I figured I'd get one up of my Ruckus since it's pretty close to done for now. I got a few things to do, but done some stuff to it over the winter. Got this badass seat cover made from gy6. They do a great job. Susie up there made a custom seat pan out of an old stop sign that I had in the shop, so I cut it up and bent it and got it all ready to rock, and made a little mount for my radiance light, which looks pretty cool. Definitely does the trick. Nice and clean. Beats that turtle head I had on the stock seat. It just looked too plain. Got some little license plate lights and a black plate to go with the bike as best as I could. Was what they had at the DMV. Got the Dorby Works case brace, which is recommended. I mean, a lot of people will tell you you don't need it, but why take the chance? You know, it's cheap Chinese steel. You go over a bump, especially with a slammed ride, it's good to have that protection. So that looks pretty good, man. I went through and put in a tie to bushings for engine and shock mount, which is a bitch if you don't really take your time and do it right, which I didn't, but I got it done. And kind of painted all the polished elements flat black. Used some engine enamel so everything's gas resistant, very important. If you use regular paint, it'll peel that shit right off the moment you drop a little gas on it. Got my headlight setup kind of different than the usual. I put a man-in-the-box lazy eye with the upgraded monocle, which makes it look pretty cool. And then before I just had this Dorby Works 9 LED light bar. I figured, what the hell, you know, I'll stick it on there. And I changed out the mount it comes with for a little Drow Sports mount, which is meant for a rigid light, but it works fine for this. I just had to take the light apart and change out the little mounting bolts. But I went ahead and did wire loom on pretty much everything I could, and put some LED turns in there. I did have the Kojima incandescent bulbs, which were fine, but I wanted something a little sleeker with the red bezels. Looks pretty good. Turn that shit on, you can see how it looks with the LED bar too. It's definitely super bright. I don't try to blow people's brains out too much with it driving, but if I'm on a back road at night, got to get home with it. It helps light it up a lot, so it was worth doing. Not sure I love it, but it's on there now, so I'm gonna leave it for a while. Of course, I got the red LED ground glow. Bought some of those LED strips at Wally World and wired them up to a little momentary switch there, locking switch, illuminated, so that's a little cooler than the shitty switch I had last year. Of course, I got my cat keychain. My old man gave me this keychain, and it was sitting around the house, so I converted that into my key when I built the Ruckus. Kind of cool. I've got Ruckster's bars. I used to have Dorby Works bars, which are awesome, but I really like the Ruckster's bars, and I wanted black, so I got rid of the polish, sold them off. And I just last night moved the clip-ons to the upper position, and I'm like 6'1", and it's way more comfortable than having them down low. You know, you kind of look cool, it looks sleek, low slung, but now that I've done it, it's just no comparison for comfort, and I think it looks better too, honestly. Of course, I got my HRH gussets on there, welded on. Had them welded on. I don't want to bullshit and act like I did it, but I did mold the frame. You know, I ground down all the welds and did like 4 coats of JB weld before I had it powder coated. I need to polish it up and wax it. It got a little shitty over the last riding season. Got my Steady Garage growler header with a Yoshimura RS9, which is a good pipe. You know, it's meant more for street bikes, groms, shit like that, but it works good on this. It's a little big. Some people cut them down. I'm going to leave it alone. I kind of bit my boy Adam Rios' style and got an R1 Fender off of eBay. I got it for 15 bucks shipped. And had a little scrape on it, but I sanded that down. It's good to go. I'm just going to finish mounting it. And I'm waiting on a 70mm M6 bolt because I don't weld. I don't really have the capability to do it because I don't have one, so I'm using aluminum flat stock, and I've got 3 mounting points. I shaved it, of course, you know, you got to cut it down and stuff to make it fit, but I got one mounting point there, right above the on the fan shroud, and doing another one here. I'm gonna go in and tap and thread my case brace a little bit on that cross member, and just pop that in there. Probably do a nylock nut on the other side. And then my third mounting point, I drilled this out and installed this mounting bushing that was in another location here, and I'm going to run another piece of flat stock down into this section here, and I'll run a 70mm bolt through there to the other side, and that'll connect it for 3 points of contact, so it shouldn't shake around. You know, you don't want it vibrating, waving at everybody behind you looking like shit. Other things I did over the winter, I went on the Ruck shop, and I got their CVT upgrade that they sell. So it's got a stage 4 NCY green racing clutch, a NCY Teflon coated variator, and the 12-gram Dr. Pulley sliders. And I've definitely noticed a good difference. It was worth the money. It's a little pricey. It's like $200 or something, but it made a big difference going up hills and shit. I live in the mountains, so you need stuff to help you pull up the hill. And my takeoff's better. Definitely my top speed went up by like 3 or 4 miles an hour, believe it or not. Which is also partially because I changed out my pilot jet in my little 24mm carb there, and that made a big difference. The shit, I put a frame splitter on there. Got off a dude. It's an FLP, so it's got this laser cut logo. And he had a piece of anodized aluminum that he riveted behind it, so it looks pretty cool. You know, it gives a little extra dimension. And what else did I do? I bought these mini Moto Lab shit here. This is a one-off cap they never put into production, so that's the only one of those that exists as far as I know. I'm fixing to paint that flat black, probably powder it, and then go into the logo here and paint that with gloss red. I think that'll look cool. I'm gonna do the same thing on the mini Moto Lab frame caps that I put in, and just kind of tie stuff together. Got my little hieroglyphics sticker there. It's a badass rap group from back in the day, and I got that on there because of course it matches sort of my crazy headlights. So just tying stuff together, you know, being stupid, spending money on bullshit. I ended up putting some steel spacers on my front pegs. I got the peg legs here from Man in the Box, and that did a lot to for comfort, because before they were hugging in here, I'd have like my big toe on that bitch, and that was about it. So it was pretty important to widen those. FLP kickstand doesn't scrape for me, but I'm not speed racer. I'm not leaning into turns like a wild man. I just kind of putt around town with it. So that's fine for me. What else do I got here? Got the Vapor and the stage 6 fuel gauge, which is super handy. So you blow through gas when you upgrade to a gy6, and it's important to keep an eye on it. I've almost run out of gas a few times getting out of town, and the Vapor works real good. Everybody knows that. That's a decent speedo and tack. Got the Allen levers, CRG blind spot mirror, and I had another one but I sold it, but I might grab another one and stick it on the right side. I don't know yet. Got the Password JDM chin bone, which just adds some stability, you know. You're riding so low to the ground. I've got no suspension, so anything to shore up that frame I think is a good idea if you can do it. And I put a Ruckster's Stifler stabilizer bar across the rear frame bolts. That tightens shit up big time, so it's worth doing that too. What else? Still got my full dish wheels, which I like the look of them. You know, obviously I'd rather get something a little more awesome eventually, but they work good now. I'm the only one in town, so everybody can kiss my ass. I get stopped everywhere I go, no matter what kind of wheels I got on it. But I might powder those black and just make it all look a little meaner. I don't know why I put stickers on shit, and then I always want to take them off, but you know, HRH, Ashley Bean's company, it's a badass company. He does great stuff, and I had a little scratch on my chin bone, so I just stuck his sticker on there since it's red. and it doesn't look bad, but I'll probably take that off and repaint it. Shit, other than that, I don't know. That's about it. Thing rides good. Can't complain a bit. It's riding much better than it did last season, so that's always a plus, you know. Try to improve it a little every year before I get into building another one. And yeah, that's about it.